Hello, and welcome to Kandi Unfiltered. We are in the Grace space with my friend Terri, and we have a full menu tonight. I am so excited about all the things that we're going to catch you up on since our last time together, Terri, right?
In a little bit.
Yes. Well, on the menu for today, we have our starter. We're going to talk about introducing Terry's new grandbaby, Kollyns. And then we're going to talk about the joy of being a honey and pouring into the next generation. And then for our main course, we've got a lot to cover with Pretties and Grace. We're going to talk about the flood. We're going to cover this new signage and how the registry at 501 has kicked off. And we've got a special thing every third Thursday here in Benton, where we are located, that's going to be kicking off this week. So we want to talk about that as well. And then we're going to wrap it up with a delicious dessert, Resurrection Sunday celebration, because that's the week that we're in, and how special Resurrection Sunday is to us and how it's Jesus that makes it special and the gift of salvation. So join us for new life, new signage, and resurrection joy.
This episode is brought to you by Pretties Grace, a faith-based boutique offering high-quality home decor and gifts at prices for every budget. From stunning vases and greenery to statement seasonal pieces for every holiday, plus the sweetest gifts, they truly have it all. Pretties Grace has 3 locations, their main store in the heart of downtown Benton, along with shops in Malvern and Fayetteville. You can also browse and shop online at prettiesandgrace.com. A huge thank you to Pretties Grace for sponsoring this episode.
How are you doing, Terry?
Oh, I am on cloud 9.
Yes, you are. And I have been enjoying all the pictures. So tell us, our Kollyns
Cole is her name. And, I have 5. She is number 5.
Number 5.
But this is my baby girl.
Oh, yeah.
Had her first.
Yes.
We have the blended a house full of boys and a girl, and this is my girl.
Yes.
Kollyns was born on March 29th, and she is 7 pounds and 4 ounces of perfection.
March the 29th is mine and Chris's anniversary.
So that was a special
That was a special day, yeah.
Well, she was due March 31st, excuse me. But Sydney Claire's, her mama's birthday is on March 25th, and Sydney Claire was born on my grandmother's birthday. So I was really hoping for that March 25th, but she decided she needed her own day.
Yes,
so she is head full of hair and just a little squishy goodness.
She's got those cheeks.
Oh, she is just so pretty, and I am in love with that little girl.
And I know you are spending as much time with her as you can.
Not as much as I'd love to, but Sydney is in her 4th year of a doctorate program here in Arkansas, and is in her residency year. And so they have been really, really good to work with her. She actually went back to work to finish out she chose to finish out her time so that she could graduate with her class, her cohort next month. And so she has gone back to work yesterday.
Oh.
And, emotionally, I don't know how she's doing it.
Right.
But between myself and her mother-in-law and her husband and her sister, we're taking turns staying with the baby. And today was my day. And
that was hard for you to leave and come here, wasn't it?
And Sydney, she checked on us a couple of times, and she said, "Are you remoting in?" I said, "No." She goes, "Well, what are you doing?" I said, "Sitting here staring at her." She goes, "It's easy to do." And I said, "It sure is." I mean, she's just at that age where she just sinks right in and sleeps a lot.
Yeah.
But today I just got to, she was really alert for a few minutes, and I said, "I know they say that they can't see you yet, but I think she sees
And she sees you. She was smiling at you.
Yeah, she was, wasn't she?"
Well, I love the name Kollyns Cole. Is there a special meaning behind that?
Kollyns, I think she just loved the name, but Cole is actually her husband Harlan's middle name.
Okay.
And And so I love that name ever since they picked it out. And it's just, of course, in the South, everything's monogrammed. So I got the pleasure of helping her with her nursery. And so,
which, by the way, is beautiful.
Well, I think so. So it's like a little princess room. And so I was excited to, of course, the child's never going to forget her name because it's everywhere.
Right.
And, I love, I have Della Rose, and I have Waylon, and we have Alex and Jordan. And Jordan's my little bestie. Jordan, she's coming into her own. She's a little sassy pants. She's one. And then Della and Waylon are my two grandchildren that have cystic fibrosis.
Right.
And so that's a cause near and dear to our heart. They're cousins, and they can't ever be within 6 feet of each other. And so Alex is my 5-year-old, and he is on our little Pretties Grace Giants baseball team. And so we were able to sponsor his little team. And so Kollyns is bringing up the rear, and we call him the little cousin crew. So we are really, really, David and I are enjoying being Paw and Honey.
Yes. So how did you guys come up with Paw and Honey? Because Chris and I are Lolly and Pop. And of course, that was a play on my name, right?
Yeah.
Lollipop. So that's how we came up with that, was doing a play on my name. So how did you guys come up with that?
Well, David, for all these years, I guess right when, we first found out we were going to, be grandparents, he goes, I want to be Ma and Pa. And I said, I'm not 90. No. And he goes, well, I want to be Paul. I said, well, I'll just pick out something else. And I really don't know. I can't recall how Honey came about. We have a lady that Sam played baseball on a tournament team growing up.
Right.
And Colby Johnson's grandmother was named Honey. And I always thought that was the cutest thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that maybe it's after her, but that kind of gave me planted a seed. And all the kids were like, yeah, Honey and Paul, that's cute. So it kind of stuck.
I think Honey is a great name for you.
And, so I told Tyler, he's got 3 of them, Tyler does. And he's our third oldest. And Tyler was actually, when we were moving into Wild, they call me Honey. Now, of course, they used to call me Terri. I'm their stepmom. And they, a couple of them call me Mom, but they've never called me Mom.
Right.
They refer to me sometimes as Mom, but no, they don't really call me. And they started calling me Honey. And I said, that is such a term of endearment for me.
Yes.
That they all call me Honey. And I even find myself at the store, if I'm talking about David, I'll say, I'll have Paul bring it in. Or, we even call each other Honey and Paul now.
Yes.
It's just stuck with the whole family.
Yes.
And that's kind of fun.
Yes,
it
absolutely.
Really is. It's just a whole new era. And I was looking into that baby's eyes today, and all was just right in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It just...
all the newness that comes with
and you have them too. Yes. You know what I mean. I mean, I used to think it was horrible when they would say they would skip the kids and go to the grandkids, but I get it.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
And I guess it's because we were in the trenches when we were raising our kids.
That's right.
We were in the, to stretching dollars to make ends meet, and we still do that, I guess.
Right.
But we were in all of the trenches to go
Right.
here and there, and now we just get to do the fun stuff.
We get to do the fun stuff. That's right.
And God knew what He was doing when He gave us grandchildren, because they are such a precious gift.
Yes, they are. And it really does make you stop and think about the importance of pouring into the next generation, right? I mean, we talk about that from a spiritual aspect, how the older are to pour into the younger, right? And so on. But when you have a grandchild, it really does bring to light the importance of pouring into the next generation.
Well, and it's also being a support system for our own children
Yes.
as they go through the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I lost my mother, at a very young age. My kids were babies.
Yeah.
And I took on a Tootie and an uncle who are just like my parents. But, it's if you don't have a family support system or a church home or a village. I mean, it really takes a village.
Yes, it does.
And we have a little group text with Sid and Harlan and my friend April, who is her mother-in-law, and myself, and we send pictures throughout the day of the baby and all. And today, we sent a picture that we made it to. I take her to work. We take her to work so that Sydney can nurse.
Right.
And that's a lot of running in the streets, back and forth so that she can nurse. But this is what's the best for Sydney and that baby right now.
Right.
And, and April said, I could tear up thinking of our village. And I said, we are blessed.
Yes.
Because, I also have a day job, and for my employer to make allowances for me to be out, one day a week, and April to have the flexibility to give a day or two a week. I mean, it's really, to have the flexibility for Sydney and Harlan, that is something I didn't have growing up. And I'm so, so glad that I have the opportunity to do that now.
Yes.
And, all of the next generations, last week time we gathered, we talked about staff.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm taking over the conversation,
No.
but we had, I do a little, we have a little app that we clock in and out on, and there's a place to message. And if there's housekeeping items or whatever, I have to tell the girls or the team, I said those very words this week, if we have to give you a little gentle reminder or a nudge, many of you, this is your first job, and it's our job to teach you and to pour into you and to make you good, teachable, coachable, trainable adults.
Right.
And so take that as a nudge, not that we're angry or that we're upset or that, if we don't teach you, you're not going to know.
Exactly.
And so that goes all the way to the
And we
infancy.
want them to be successful going forward, right?
Absolutely.
We want that for those that work alongside of us, for us, our children, and the next, the generation after that. Why I do what I do is because I want to see this world to be a better place for my children and my grandchildren, right? And so it is about nudging sometimes.
Yes, those gentle nudges or love notes. Yeah, little love notes. And we, as grandparents, you have to find that fine line between being overbearing. I try not to be overbearing. I sit back and I wait for kind of spoken to kind of thing. I want them to raise their children and do the things that they need us to do. But I love it when we're allowed to just have that time, and because it is a place of trust. I mean, how hard it is to leave a 2-week-old baby with anybody.
I was thinking back to, when I had Madison and, that your first child. And, I'm just for Sydney, like, oh my goodness, I can't imagine what it was like for her to make the decision, an important decision, and one that she knows is best. But man, that's a hard decision, and I bet it was a little heartbreaking for her. And
It is, but I mean, today it's for 4 weeks,
Right.
and she can be off for a while to be
Yeah.
home with the baby. And if you think about it, 4 weeks, they're sleeping in there. I mean,
right,
she's not missing a lot. And the nursing thing been the only challenge, but we take her up there, let her nurse, and then let Sydney go back into work, and I'll sit in the parking lot for a couple of hours till it's time again.
Right.
I mean, Kollyns doesn't care where we are. As long as
Right.
she's being, booty's being patted.
She wants to be loved on. She wants to eat, sleep, and poop. Right.
Exactly. And, and even the older ones, I mean, time with them is just not enough. Not enough. I
Right.
mean, I love, Alex is about to start school. He's in pre-K, but he's just thriving, and even Jordan has started walking recently, and she's so bossy and sassy, and every night, we FaceTime with them and say goodnight. We have our routines.
Right.
And, David reminds me so much of my granddaddy. He used to open the doors at church every Sunday, turn on the air, make the coffee. Nobody else could do that.
Right.
Him,
Right.
And he always kept a little pocket full of peppermints, and he'd just walk up to a little one and just tap it, and they'd reach their handy, and well, David's become that for all of our grandchildren. They know Paul better not show up without candy or gummies or something because he's going to be in trouble.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how many times we're headed somewhere, we got to run into a convenience store so he can make sure he doesn't show up empty-handed. But
he's setting the standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're in that phase of life, and with 6 kids, if I have at least 2 per, I'm looking at a football team.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the same thing. I've kind of gone through, and I remember when Aiden was much younger, and we were talking about kids, and Aiden goes, "Well, I'm going to have 20 kids." And I said, "Oh, you are?" And I said, "Well, I hope that you marry someone who wants 20 kids as well." He goes, "Oh, she will." It's like, "Oh, okay." I don't know that he still thinks that.
Probably not. He might have dialed it back to 1 or 2.
20 years old, but that just really, tickled me that he was so confident, "I'm going to have 20 kids."
Yeah. And I'm just, we'll have them all over on Easter Sunday, and it's just a lot of fun. And I informed a couple of my older bigs last night. I said, we're probably just going to do Easter baskets for the littles this year, the grands. And Sydney goes, "Who are you and what have you done with my mother?" Like, this is child abuse. I said, "Sydney Claire, I've got 5 now." So, I mean, they expect.
Yeah, you still got to do that. I thought my kids expect it too. So
I'm thinking, gosh, I guess I get them back to Target we go, or back to Pretties Grace we go. But I have all these boys. I don't have a lot of boy stuff.
Right.
We'll just have to see how that pans out. But it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. Well, we'll just switch gears and talk about, there has been so much that has happened in the last month with the weather here and, just all that's going on. So I know Malvern, you had a big flood there at your Malvern location.
We did. Thankfully, we didn't really have a lot of damage. We had some inventory that got water damage. Unfortunately, there's been a leak in that building. It's an old building.
Yeah.
And
but a beautiful building.
It is beautiful.
It's beautiful.
And Christy called me that Saturday morning when after the 3 days of storms, a couple of weeks ago, and she was just beside herself. And it's ankle deep in here. And so David and I hopped in the truck and drove down, and she and David and I and the owner of the building worked with shop vacs and the squeegee mops.
Right.
And we were trying to get everything up off the floor and get it under control. And it was hard there at first, but we finally got the culprit and was able to save a lot of things.
Okay,
and
good.
So hopefully we do have a few water damaged items that I think are still pretty that we've marked way down.
Right,
and so
right.
you might pop by Malvern and look.
Get
and
you a
see
little
things.
treat.
Yeah, to me, if there's a corner that's messed up, I can't really sell it, but you can put a little pot there, a piece of greenery or something, and it'd be all right. But Christy is just...
For the right price, we can make anything look good, right?
Right. And Christy is, I joke, everything in my house is broken. Because when something breaks, David glues it back together. We turn it to the back, and we can't sell it. We'll just take it home. So it's your house look like Pretties Grace? Yeah, a little bit, unless you look at the back of it. Kidding. But Christy she has really turned it around down there for us.
Good.
She really has. And she's doing a great job of just being a self-starter. I'm really not having to, I do think about it, obviously, but she's just a godsend to me.
She's taking the reins.
She has.
Yeah.
And I get daily reports from her and daily pictures of things that she's done. And she's got a beautiful eye and a great attitude. And I'm really, I told her today, I said, I'm very happy with my decision to bring you on board on our team, cross it over to our side.
Yes.
A little bit. And I know Chris is more than pleased with her at stated.
Right.
So,
right.
But thankfully, we put a little blip out on Facebook that day, and we needed we needed some help and had so many reach out and share. And honestly, I think a few have probably popped by to give us a little business just to
bring up the spirit.
just to support us.
Yeah.
Again, Malvern has a wonderful downtown. They do something along the lines of Third Thursday down there. They have a sip-in shop, I think is what they call
Right.
it, downtown every month. And we had that last week and had several visit us. And so I'm loving being a part. And we're still planning. The weather put a little damper, and then now the baby. And so I'm hopeful to get the tent sale going down there.
Right.
May is full with Mother's Day and graduations and proms and all the things. And if you get past May, then it gets too hot. So we're going to do it. I just don't have it on the calendar yet.
Gotcha. So be looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're following Pretties and Grace on social media. They have Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Yeah.
And make sure that you're following that so that you can be a part of knowing when the tent sales are, because they are things that you do not want to miss. These tent sales are, they're just fantastic.
Well, and we announce everything, all of our events on there. It's the first place to be in the know.
That's right.
We also have an email chain. If you ever want to email us or drop me a message on Facebook or something.
Right.
Or in the store.
There's a little place to sign up to get on your emails.
And Madison will grace your inbox a couple of times a week with what's going on, new things or sales or events or whatever.
Yes, and it's not a long read, but some great little information and little call outs of what you guys have got going on. And
we try. I know that I get bombarded with emails, and we try hard to find a good balance.
Yes.
We email when we have something to say.
Right.
We just don't buy this.
Right.
If there's an event or I think today she sent one that we're nominated in a few of the little categories.
Yes, you are.
And
they've got some categories in the Selene Courier.
Yes.
So make sure to also go on. When is the last day to cast your vote on?
I believe it's the 26th.
Okay.
So you've got a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
You can vote one time a day.
Right.
One time daily, I believe, is the rule. And they're not just Pretties and Grace, but that is when you can boost the spirits of small business.
Yes. Yes.
In all of your favorites are in there, and all of the different categories. And I'll be honest with you, we had the honor of winning one and a runner-up in one last year, and then also on the My Selene we did the same, and it really boosted my spirits, and it was just a little pat on the back.
Yeah.
People know you're out there,
That's
type of thing. And it's a big honor because it is voted by the people,
right. Right.
The people's choice, I think is what it's called.
Absolutely. And so you have this really beautiful store now in downtown Benton. Now, you guys are getting ready to do a ribbon cutting, right?
I've got to get that on the books of the chamber. Okay. I had said as soon as we got our signage up, and it is up.
It's up, and it's beautiful, and it looks so good lit up at night, may I say.
It does. We had a couple of little hiccups, and I want to give a shout out to Jared Offit at Offit Signs. He... I'm picky, and he just bent over backwards, and they had to... for those of new to joining us, we are in with Wild Boutique. We are sharing the space, and so Wild was already there. So they had to take off Wild, scoot it over, put the P&G, center everything, and then light it all up. And there was a couple of, it was a process.
Right.
A couple of days process, and then the weather hit, and then the streets were
flooded.
Well, they were flooded, but they were working on it.
They're working on it, right.
With the infrastructure upgrades, which we're very thankful for.
Right.
I'm very glad about that. But that's been a process. And so it didn't really get the social media attention that it deserved in a timely fashion, simply because there was a big tractor in front, or the mud everywhere, or the floods, or the this, or the that. So now it is up, and it is gorgeous. We can change the colors at night.
Oh, good.
Right now it's lit up pink, but like Christmas, we can turn it to red, or leave it pink if we want to, different colors. And so we've been playing with the colors but I'd said back to the ribbon cutting, whenever we get the signage up, I'll schedule that. So that's on my calendar to do this week is to get with Melinda and Amy at the chamber and
get that on the
get
books.
that on the books. So stay tuned for that because I'm sure we'll have a special day.
Well, after you got the signage up, and I drive by Pretties and Grace almost on a daily basis, and I'm just always like, I look at the window, like your window displays are just absolutely gorgeous. And I was driving by the other night, and it's lit up, and you see the window space. I was like, oh, it's just so pretty.
It was
It
so
looks
funny.
so good.
I got a text from my sweet daughter-in-law this week, and it said, we were driving in front of this store this morning, taking Alex to school. He goes to Ringgold. And she said, Wayway, that's a Waylon, we call him. Wayway said, that's Honey's store. It's so beautiful.
Oh,
He called it
beautiful.
Beautiful. I couldn't say like pretty, but
Right.
beautiful. And that just made my day.
Yes, it did. That's awesome.
He's a little charmer.
Yes, he is. Yes. So we have also coming up, third Thursdays will be kicking off in Benton starting this month, which is this week. The day that this will be airing will be the third Thursday. So what are you guys going to be having going on at the store for third Thursday?
We're going to stay open. Third Thursday, I believe, is like 5:30 to 8:30 or 6:30 to 8:30. I think it's 5:30 to 8:30. I know it ends at 8:30. So we're going to keep the store open till 9.
Okay.
And we're going to run some, I think it's going to be 25% off store-wide. But I think since it's also Easter week, we may have a little draw an egg for Easter for an extra discount or something.
Right.
I'm still putting all that together. But watch our socials because we always, we're going to do it up big. And hopefully, if I know that most of Third Thursday's down around the courthouse area, but parking, you'll have to walk past us, so pop on by and
well, the whole aspect of Third Thursday was really to boost the downtown businesses and to bring an event down there for the businesses to stay open late and to bring more businesses to our small businesses retail space downtown. And I know most of the businesses usually stay open late and have little specials going on. So it's a great time to pop by Pretties and Grace the third Thursday of every month starting in April. And I believe it runs September. And because then October we have other events that go on.
Town and things like that.
Right.
So every third Thursday, I know sometimes weather permitting, they may make adjustments, but as it stands, every third Thursday, and we'll learn and grow as we learn because this is our first one. And so I'll be honest, I had the little, I puckered my lip and missed out on, when we were on military, everyone always supported us. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But
we're a little far removed from
the downtown events. And I was so bummed sometimes. I was like, oh, I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
That was, so this is kind of like one of my little dreams, our first third Thursday. And so come see us and Wild and Stated and all of the other stores. I think all the other boutiques will be open later. And that's just fun. And it's also right before Easter. So all of our Easter decor and gifts, we've got tons of Easter fillers and we have obviously the bunnies and all, but we have so many of the meaningful Easter items now. And so we would love
watching Madison with your little canvas bags, which would make for great Easter baskets, Easter bags. They're canvas and they've got the writings on them. You can see that also on their social media pages. But I've loved watching her do
this. And she's done an amazing job. And I've got them in my window. I even had some in my window. And I'm going to use mine for a Bible tote. like for church to put my sermon notes that you can get at Pretties and Grace and our Bibles. And we have the cutest little quilted Bible covers that are made.
Yeah.
So we have tons of.
I saw those. Those are really pretty.
Like I could put together relatively, I would say under $50, a beautiful bag with goodies if you needed to give someone a gift, and that might be what my bigs get.
Right, from Pretties and Grace.
Yeah, we have a new candle that's called Risen.
Oh,
and it is beautiful. It smells so yummy, but it's pink matted, and it's a beautiful candle. It's a signature candle for us. So we have all kinds of things for not just Easter, but for spring.
Right.
So I hope to see everyone third Thursday.
Absolutely.
I get to be there because it's at night, and I'm off. I get to be there. And so I think we're going to, I'm about to add to Pretties and Grace. I've noticed when I'm there, we play a lot. Like we'll just get we'll clear off the counter and see what flowers looks good in this and this and this with customers. I need a designated area for that. And I think I'm going to I think I'm going to bring a table out. And
that would be a fantastic idea.
And make a spot because,
you have customers that bring stuff in to change out. I know you have a couple really faithful customers that bring stuff in and go, okay, let's change it out and freshen up and update for the season.
And we're even doing a couple of special shopping events for, I go to New Life Church, and my ladies' life group is coming for a special shopping event one night this month. And I've got another one that's wanting to schedule one during the day.
Right.
Some of those ladies don't like to drive at night. So anybody it doesn't have to be a Sunday school group, but any kind of a shopping event, especially, like we're starting the wedding registry, a little shower shopping event or something. If you are ever wanting us to do a little something special, we would love to do that.
Yes.
We would love
little
to.
Special events at Pretties and Grace. That's the wonderful thing, is that we love to take what others would really like and go, okay, let's create something with that, right? And I love that idea. Yeah. Well, speaking of the registry, so last month we talked about that you were launching this, and here we are.
And Madison has it ready to go on our website, so brides can register on the website and pick out things to add to her site. And also, like you as a shower guest or would like to buy a gift, can look on there to find a bride.
Right.
We are still taking appointments. I would like for someone to really meet with us first.
Right.
Don't just go willy-nilly, because we're still learning. And but we are ready for appointments. And I have one more vendor appointment meeting. It got postponed because of the storms, the flood day, this Saturday, for some of it. But I just placed an amazing order last week for some new everyday dish lines, and even some that are going to be like holiday oriented. And I'm so excited. And like these pieces, this is a mud pie piece, actually.
I love this. Yeah.
And we have a lot of the wood elements and things that you don't typically see, but will be timeless.
Right.
That is my goal with the wedding registry, is not to have trending items, but more timeless.
Right.
With the stemware and you can even get bride
stuff.
Bride things there, the fun totes and the little spa wraps and the house slippers and all of the things. And here's like some vows.
Yeah, let's look at these. I love these. When I saw them, I was like, oh, what a great idea.
It's a velvet, like this would be
and it comes in a set.
Yes, you get the 2 books in a set, and like, so if you're getting on your wedding day, your husband can write his vows in here, and the wife can write, the bride can write her vows and then exchange them for like a keepsake. It's in their handwriting. And
what a great idea, because so many people do it on like just paper, which is
seen them on their cell phone.
Their cell phone. But it's such a great memento. It's such a great piece to hold on to.
And if I remember right,
beautiful.
Madison and Griffin did theirs privately,
Yes.
right? They didn't do it during the ceremony. They
Right.
did it at a private moment.
Right.
And you could even do it that way, to
Right.
do the private moment or, especially if you use the traditional vows in your ceremony.
Right.
However you want to do that, it could even be a letter,
Right.
because, I know some brides and grooms aren't, they're a little
more
gun
private.
shy, or more
Mhm.
want it to be more of just an intimate moment.
Right.
But these are new and very
when I saw those, I was like, "Oh my goodness, I absolutely love them." I love that they're in velvet. They're timeless.
Mhm.
It's such they're beautiful, and what a great gift to give to your spouse on your wedding
Oh,
day.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's, we've talked about the reasons I love you, but,
Right.
getting something written, I mean, as a woman from a man even,
Yes.
in his own writing, and then one day, what a keepsake for your children or your
Yes.
grandchildren. When I saw those, I thought, "I've got to have those for the
Right.
store," and we've got some other colors coming in, like a beige, I think, and I don't remember, but, there's some that are a little bit different.
Okay.
They're all a little bit different, but those are a fabulous thing. So we are starting to carry things like that just for, brides to have on their wedding day, not necessarily a gift, but
Right.
it would be a beautiful gift too. If you wanted
Yes.
to give someone in like the picture frames and
Yeah, you have several different types of picture frames.
Yeah.
I love this.
the marble.
Yeah, I was gonna say marble, and it's really, nice and heavy piece.
Mhm.
It's really pretty. The stemware, I absolutely love the stemware.
The stemware is beautiful, and, if you're into color, we have that Glitterville brand
yes.
that's got we actually, have taken that over from 501 Fair.
Yeah.
And, 501 Fair started the Registry, and we are, paying homage to what they built, and it's still called the Registry at 501.
Yes.
And, we purchased some of their remaining inventory, and that's one of the guys that reps that I'm meeting with this week is, with that brand. And
Right.
so, we've just not been able to meet up because he was at market, and then the storms and the flood and the baby and all the things.
All the things. And so when you walk into, Pretties and Grace, they've got this wonderful display for, the brides and the wedding registry back in the, right-hand corner.
Yes.
That's all allocated for that, and it's, a lot of really cute, neat pieces back there.
Yeah.
There's this beautiful glass bowl with the gold. It's beautiful.
We have a lot of the creams, the golds, black, white,
Uh-huh.
very timeless.
Yeah.
Everything, we try to and it's not, pricey. Most of the things are very affordable for a
Yes.
place setting. Obviously, at Dillard's and so, when you and I grew up, it was the fine china. This
Right.
is more of an everyday. Now, the serving pieces are fabulous. And they're
Yes.
not, I mean, I'm so excited about the price points on what I'm finding. And, um, I'm so excited because the order that I placed Saturday should be here within the week or so.
Okay.
And so we're still pricing and putting things out. So hopefully, brides will come see us and let us
Yeah.
be a part of their special moments because it's
So
be a lot of
it's time to go ahead and start making those appointments
Yes.
to come in and
Yes.
meet with you guys and to get on the registries.
Right.
Yeah.
And the good thing is like once a bride comes in and chooses her place saying that she likes, if we get things in later, and especially if her wedding's, sometimes weddings are several months out, she can go online and add anything to her registry at any time. And we can make sure that we have, and we will deliver to local showers and weddings. Obviously, we ship if it's going to be off. We can work that out. And so we're really, really, really excited, and we'll give her a special shout out. She'll be a 501 bride, and we'll display her photo and like a little shelf that she can pick some of her items to showcase. So we'll do all the heavy lifting, basically.
Right.
We just want to share in their moments.
And make it really special for them.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And, a lot of times brides don't realize that, serving peace may not be something that they're thinking about right now, but I promise you, when you build your home,
yes,
and you'll remember who gave you that, and you'll remember. And we have some flatwares and different things, so you can do as big or little as you choose, and at the end, we'll do some special things, for our brides, to maybe some gift cards and all, to help her purchase hostess gifts for showers or things like that, or however she wants to use it. So we've got a neat little program set up for it, and excited to kick it off.
Absolutely.
And if your wedding's next month, it's not too late. If your wedding's a year away, it's not too early.
Okay. So we know that we can go ahead and start making those appointments and getting registered.
Yeah.
And I promise you, you will love the pieces when you go into Pretties and Grace. And like I said, it's in the back right-hand corner of the store. It's its own little section. So,
and if you loved 501 Fair, I'll just go ahead and say we got a lot of the shelving from them.
Yes.
We bought, like I said before, some of their inventory, so we're including some of the lines that they've come accustomed to carrying.
Right.
So
because y'all carried very different things from one another.
Yes.
And so that is such a great compliment that you have brought that over and included it into Pretties and Grace.
Well, and it was just a God thing too, that now we have the space, we have the revenue to put toward it, to invest in it. And we're really, really excited. And we have other lines that 501 Fair carried also. Gina was so gracious to share with me some of the things. We've really tried hard to be different.
Right.
Because you don't want to dilute the market.
Exactly.
You don't want to dilute the brand.
Right.
And Benton's big enough, supported us both very, very well.
Right.
But she did share with me some of the things that maybe some of her customers would be disappointed to not have anymore.
Exactly.
And we've picked those up. So come give us a shot. And if you were a 501 bride and you maybe need a few more pieces, that you didn't get all the pieces you wanted or whatever, come talk to us, because we most likely will have or can get it for you.
Oh, good.
Some pieces you're missing.
Okay. That's wonderful. Well, we are in Resurrection Week.
What it's all about.
Yeah. So what are some ways that your family honors this time and that day? What do you guys do special?
Well, it's funny because I grew up, and my granddaddy, my grandmother, my mom, my dad, we grew up Methodist. And that's where we recognized the period of Lent.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was telling a story to my devotional group at the office. I said, I remember as a little girl on Palm Sunday carrying the palms down the aisle, and
Right.
so I love taking his steps each day.
Yeah.
Taking his steps, on yesterday was the day that he got angry in the temple
Mm-hmm.
for them conducting business
Right.
in the holy space, and taking his steps. And he walked into that week, Kandi, knowing the ending.
Yeah.
What faith.
Yeah.
That is a faith that passes all knowledge and understanding that
Right.
we could ever have.
Yeah.
In order to seal our salvation.
Yes.
And to seal it. And in my group with, you ask about my family, obviously we get together and we go to church together, and we'll go Friday night, we'll go to the Good Friday service. And then our church has several services throughout the weekend, but I'm a Sunday morning Easter girl.
Yeah.
I like to, wear our Easter best, but just to be together as a family, and we'll read the Easter story, and we'll talk about the sacrifice, and I always love Good Friday. That service is the somber day, of what he suffered, the suffering that he did for us. And then you just have that anticipation we've all heard it. Sunday's coming, Sunday's coming.
Yeah.
And so that, I think I just lost my earring there. So that, he bore the cross, and I feel the heaviness of that Easter week. I don't know if you do too, if that's weird, but I just can't imagine knowing in my flesh what turmoil I was about to face
Yeah.
and having this undeniable faith
Yeah.
and
love. I mean, just the love that, there's oftentimes I think about how, how unworthy I am of forgiveness, through Christ, and how much he loves me. And he didn't just take up on my sin or just your sin, but God's word tells us he took on the sin of the world, everyone that had been born and would be born for eternity. And to think that he took that on with all the love and the willingness so that I could be with him for eternity because he loved me and he paid that sacrifice for me. Because we have to remember, before he made that sacrifice, all the things that you had to do, right? All of the laws and the things that you had to do to atone for sin. And he is our atonement for sin,
right.
And to just think about how he willingly went to the cross.
And his last words,
Yeah.
his last words were, "It is finished."
Yes.
And
the debt is paid.
And he, "Forgive them, Father.
Yeah.
They know not what they do. Forgive them, Father."
Yes.
And he was like, he was basically saying, they don't know you like I do.
Right.
And, I have often, since becoming a mother, thought about Mary.
Yes.
And what that must have been like for her. From the very beginning.
Yes.
From his birth to everything. And, so I think a lot, that's the way I try to relate, I guess, to what the depth of what he went through. And even, his apostles, and they followed him and they believed him, but they were still just like in awe of all of the things and no one could say.
Well, then you still have Peter who, he's going to fight for him. Yeah. Isn't that right?
And so I don't know, there's just something about the anticipation of what I anticipate Sunday, but I also have this heaviness of the anticipation of his suffering first.
Right.
And I guess that's the way that I rejoice. And man, we have a song that they sing in church, and they sing it on K-Love and the message and all it too. And it says, all I have is my praise. I've nothing fit for a king. That's all I have. And sometimes that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Like I don't have anything else to give.
Right.
But my praise.
Right. And there's nothing worthy that I have for that.
And in that song it says, get up and praise him. There's a lion in your lung, like a lion in your lungs. I don't know the exact words, but you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And it's like, get up and just raise those hands. And, I just cannot wait. And, there's so many people that will be changed on Sunday because they finally come through those doors or they return through those doors.
Right.
Hurt, church hurt, all of the things are so real.
Yeah.
But something about Easter And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that is our time as Christians to love and see them. And I don't know. I just think that there's going to be people on Sunday that come to know him for the first time.
Yeah.
Or come to know him again, or return to him, or whatever. And I just, as a sister in Christ, that just makes me so excited.
Yeah.
Well,
I know that I've, really, I study a lot of end time prophecy and, looking at the time that we are in. And, God's word tells us that there will be signs in the heavens, right? And boy, are we seeing the signs all around us. And I just think, Terry, I was thinking there are stores that have never closed their doors for Easter that are closing their doors for Easter this year.
That's good.
Lowe's.
Yeah.
I think Target, from what I hear,
I heard
Target.
that.
And these are stores who have never closed their doors for Easter. And they are closing their doors. And what I think is the Lord's gonna do something amazing, like, amazing things are coming, and you can feel the you can feel his return coming so soon, and, I just think going into this Easter is gonna be, a as every Easter is remarkable, we call it Resurrection Sunday, but it just feels a little different this year.
I agree with you, and I'm loving your take on it because I hadn't thought of it that way, and, you might be right. My brother's very knowledgeable of the word and of that, and we've had long conversations, and he's always said, "Get ready, sis.
Yeah,
He's coming.
yeah.
He's
I
coming."
mean, the signs are all around, and, it is not his will that any perish apart from him. And, we know that to talk about what it means to live in the life of Christ is not saying that it's an easy road and that everything is wonderful and there won't be hurts and there won't be trials and tribulation. As a matter of fact, you can depend
On
on
that,
on
yes.
it there being trials and tribulation. But I going through things that I've gone through, I just can't imagine how people go through life without
Oh,
that assurance, without that relationship with Jesus. And it it is, again, it is his desire that no one perish apart from him. And there's only one way to the Father, and that is through Jesus. And he paid the price for you and for me on the cross. There is nothing that you have done that is not forgivable through Jesus. Your friends may not forgive you. Your family may not forgive you. Those that you've hurt may not forgive you. But Jesus paid the price on the cross for your forgiveness. If you think about that debt that you owe, and it's all wiped away through Jesus, but you got to come through him to get to the Father.
and what ultimately separates us from the Father is sin and suffering.
Yeah.
And I'm participating in an Ephesians study right now, and I've heard of, the sin separates from us from God, but he can fill that gap.
Yes.
All you have to do is repent and ask him.
That's right.
But I've never heard of the suffering. And, I got to thinking about it, and in my suffering in times of my life, what a true suffering it's been the times that I was so broken
Yeah.
that I depended on him.
Yes.
And then I allowed him to stand in the gaps, and it made me stronger.
Yeah.
So when I first heard that in Paul's letters, to the Ephesians,
Mhm.
was that suffering, also, if I may, when my mom passed away, my dad suffered to a point where he went through a time where he turned away from God.
Right.
And he was angry.
Yeah.
And he didn't understand. And in that respect, I understand that as well.
Mhm.
So what you said about just because you're saved doesn't mean your life is free from trials
Right.
and hard times. And it doesn't, and sometimes it's a lonely place in the beginning, because sometimes doing the right thing and following Jesus, it means that you have to turn away from things that you're used to. And it
Right.
means that you may be alone
Yeah.
by the world's standard.
But exactly.
But
Exactly.
God has made a way through Jesus Christ for us to sit at his right hand forever.
Yeah.
And what a glorious day. I mean, what a glorious day that will be.
Yeah.
I mean, and as I was looking at my little grandbaby today, and I know she saw me. I mean, she may not, they say you can't.
She absolutely saw
But
you.
I was looking in her eyes and I thought, I don't ever want to be away from this. I
Right.
don't ever, I want you to be my sister. I mean, you, my child,
Right.
are his, and she has been trusted to us, and I'm going to do it right.
Yeah.
I want to do it right.
Mhm.
And that's, and that's everybody that we come in contact with. And that's why at Pretties and Grace, I also want to connect with people and create those conversations and those opportunities. And we pray for that on the
Yeah.
daily, and not just there, but everywhere.
Yeah.
And no, Easter Sunday is God laying out a smorgasbord, if you will, of opportunity to witness and to bring those to him.
Right.
Because we don't care what gets them in the door.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't care if it's grandma's wish that the pew be full and that's why you're there. I don't care if it's because you got an Easter dress and you need to wear it.
Mhm.
I don't care what gets you there. Because once you get there, we're gonna make you there, make you
Right.
love it,
And
And
remember,
I don't mean there in
No.
a church. I mean there in company of Christian friends.
Right.
And people who genuinely want to see you
Right.
come to Christ.
Right. And you can come as you are, because God meets us where we are in life.
And sometimes, Kandi, he has to back up and meet us again. I mean, I've had those times in my life where,
I mean, he has had to spank me sometimes.
yes,
A
you
little
know, or,
discipline.
and I can't tell you how many times that his heart must be broken for things I've thought or done or said. But you know what? He still loves me, and I'm
Yeah.
still his child. And
I thought about that as a parent with my children, right? Like, there's times where, each of your children in their own respect, there's been disappointments, and,
yeah,
you've been upset with them, or, you just want to choke them for,
Yeah.
the decisions that they made. But at the same time, your love does not vanish at all.
ever.
No, no.
And we are told, it's scriptural, that it's a peace and a love past all understanding.
Yeah.
So we, even as parents, can't understand the love that he has for us. And, with love comes hurt, and how his heart must break for us at times.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
and there was a song one time and a prayer that Lord, break my heart for what breaks yours.
Yes.
So that I can fix things.
Yeah.
I'm a fixer.
Yeah.
I want to fix things. And, we can't fix everything. And, some of us may have relationships where, I've done everything I can do. All I can do now is just pray from afar and love from afar, and pray that opportunity and that gap closes.
Yeah.
He is a God of restoration. He is a God of love. He is our source and our resource and all things. And he sent his only child.
Yes.
And in 3 days, we're going to celebrate his he beat the grave. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole hymn, up
Yeah.
from the grave he
Yeah.
arose. I mean, that's
Yes.
what he is the only person to defeat the grave.
Yes.
And if you can't believe that, oh
Mhm.
man.
Well, the historical evidence is there, and I was actually watching I love the book that Lee Strobel wrote, The Case for Christ. I've recommended that book over the years,
Good one.
so many times because, as you know, Lee Strobel was an atheist, and he actually set out to disprove Christianity.
And couldn't.
And he could.
Yeah.
Because the evidence,
Yes.
if you look, the evidence is so overwhelming.
And so much of the Bible, of the Gospels, of everything was written that's what I'm learning in this study too, is so many years apart.
Yeah.
Like thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years apart. And they all say,
It's all, yeah.
I mean,
Everything points back to
yes,
Jesus.
yes.
Yes. Everything from the Old Testament to the New Testament, from the beginning of time to the ending of time, everything points to the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Yes. Well, I pray that you and your family you've got this newness of life in your family. And I just pray that you all have a beautiful Resurrection Sunday and celebration coming up. And to our listeners, I just want to leave you with this. Celebrating new life in springtime, April 1st to me is Happy New Year.
All things new.
All things new. April 1st to me is really the celebration of a new year because it makes sense. When you look at scripture, everything is new coming into spring, and so newness of life, celebrating that, being with family and friends, um, whatever the case may be, remember what this Resurrection Week is all about, and take time to pause and thank Him for the gift of salvation because it is a free gift. Terri, it is one of those things that it is given freely. You don't earn it. You can't earn it. You can't do anything for it but to surrender to Him because it is a free gift of salvation. And He loves you and He's created you with a purpose. And my prayer for you is as you go into Resurrection Sunday is that it becomes really sealed within your heart that you are incredibly loved by the creator of this world. And we just wish that you have a wonderful time of celebration with your family and that you look at all the things that are new around you and just I love the smell of spring and the sun beaming down on me. And of course, you get the rain, which rains the flowers. We don't need any more rain right now. But I love this time of year and what it represents. And one of the things that I started is within our family is really looking at the feast days of the Bible and Passover and all of that. So look at those feast days, and because those are what's important to Christ, that's what's important to God, is that you look at those feast days, and if you want to know how to give your life to Christ and what that means, please reach out to me. I'd love to pray with you. I'd love to walk you through the scripture. I'd love to answer questions for you. We want to see all of our brothers and sisters that we love so dearly. We want to celebrate that time in heaven with them.
And I'll add, if you need a Bible, come see
Yes.
me.
Yes. Pretties and Grace has free Bibles. They have those there year round. Anyone who needs the word can get it at Pretties and Grace for free. So if you're coming into Resurrection Sunday and you're like, well, I don't even have a Bible to go to church, you come into Pretties and Grace and you can get a free Bible.
Or I'll bring it to you.
Yeah.
I'll ship it to you. I'll do whatever it needs to be.
That's right.
But Kandi, I wish you and your beautiful family all the Easter blessings.
Well, thank you.
And I know you're going to have a feast.
We always do. We always do. Well, we're actually having a feast on Friday. You know, my son-in-law is a coach for Ecclesia College, and they're actually coming in to, I think, Hot Springs on Friday to
play
there. And here at the studio, I'm actually feeding all of them. So yeah. Griffin has requested my sausage chicken tortellini and my Caesar salad, my homemade Caesar salad. So pop on over on Friday.
I'm actually off from my day job on Friday, so I plan to just be with those I love and pop into the store and go to church and I'm really excited about the newness in my family.
Yeah.
And the newness of everything because it's like you said, it's bought and paid for.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, until next time, I would just pray that you be blessed and that you remember that you are incredibly loved by our Creator. Enjoy this time and what it means, and join us again next week at Kandi Unfiltered.
This episode is brought to you by Pretties Grace, a faith-based boutique offering high-quality home decor and gifts at prices for every budget. From stunning vases and greenery to statement seasonal pieces for every holiday, plus the sweetest gifts, they truly have it all. Pretties Grace has 3 locations, their main store in the heart of downtown Benton, along with shops in Malvern and Fayetteville. You can also browse and shop online at prettiesandgrace.com. A huge thank you to Pretties Grace for sponsoring this episode.